This was one of the biggest health hoaxes ever. Now, eating chocolate to lose weight. A group of journalists and researchers came up with a bogus study just to see how easy it was for bad science to get published.
Millions were fooled. We're joined now by one of the people who helped put it all together, John Bohannon. He's a correspondent for Science magazine and an associate scientist at Harvard. John, thanks for being with us. First, tell us, how did the idea for this false study come about?
It was the brilliant idea of a German reporter named Peter Oneken, and he called me out of the blue in December last year, and he had this idea for a kind of sting operation.
And how did you put it together?
The idea was, let's do a real study. We'll get real people, and we'll test the effects of different diets. And one group will have chocolate and one group won't. And then we'll take the results and publish them, and we'll build a media campaign around it and see how far it goes. The catch here is that we did a really, really bad job on purpose with the science. So the question was not whether it would get published, because I already knew that there were fake journals who would publish this stuff, but would journalists pick it up and turn it into a big story? And the sad answer is yes, very big.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, John, because the study you performed in some ways did show that chocolate could help someone lose weight, but those results are misleading. And explain to us why it's sort of pseudoscience, what you guys did.
Yeah, so that's the thing that's confusing about experiments, is that even if you get a result that looks really interesting, like, for example, we found that people who ate chocolate lost weight faster. That's true. They did lose weight faster. But what you have to understand is that there's noise in body weight. You know, sometimes you weigh a few pounds more, sometimes you weigh a few pounds less. That's just the universe. And that pretty much is the best explanation for why we got a little bump in weight loss for our chocolate group. We used so few people and we measured so many things, we were basically bound to get some kind of result. We didn't know that it would be weight loss. It could have been something else. It could have been, your headlines over the past month could have been, chocolate helps you sleep better. And we would have duly published that and built a campaign around that. Just so happens weight loss did the trick.
So were you surprised then, John, just how easily everyone believed the results?
Some websites picked it up very quickly, and they just kind of regurgitated our press release, and that wasn't so surprising. But then when it started to appear in glossy magazines like Shape magazine, and it was picked up on television news shows in Texas and Australia, I was pretty shocked. The problem is that we've got a ton of fake journals now. So they're out there just taking in suckers, or being used as a vanity press by scientists who know that they've got really crappy studies. There are also just as many legitimate journals. The problem is that they look really similar. Right now there's kind of a crisis in academic publishing. Telling the difference between the good guys and the bad guys is still a little bit hard. So the question is then, okay, journalists, how are you guys going to tell the difference? You have to actually do your job. You have to tap outside sources. You have to do some reporting, dig into the story, find out if it all adds up. And I'm sad to say no reporter who wrote about this chocolate study did any of that due diligence.
And John, what is the takeaway for viewers, for other people? Because a lot of people they go to TV, that's how they get their news, or they get their news on their mobile devices. How are viewers, readers, the general public at large supposed to know what they are reading is scientifically accurate? What can they do?
I'll give one general piece of advice, which is if you're reading a news story and it seems to be telling you what to eat, don't believe it. It is that simple. There is just not enough scientific consensus around the connection between what you eat and health outcomes. This whole enterprise, the diet, nutrition, news beat, it's a sham.
All right, John Bohannon.
Not everyone's going to agree with me.
No, I mean, it's an interesting point. I mean, I think your study at least gives a lot of people food for thought.
Yeah, and I mean, but to be fair, there are
literally
there are actual doctors who go on television who do cite actual studies that have been peer-reviewed and are legitimate. So to just be wary, it sounds to me like.
I would go one stronger. I would say if the story seems to be giving you advice, clear advice, eat this or don't eat that, you can stop reading.
All right, John Bohannon, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.